author of Iran House, Ken Timmerman, also a senior fellow at the America First Policy Institute. Ken, always great to see you.
Good to see you, John. Thanks for having me.
All right, so President Trump telling us that he very much wants to make a deal with Iran. But it still seems like Iran is nibbling around the edges of this and not willing to really bite into the fact. We heard them say this definitively from Marco Rubio, President Trump, Pete Hegseth. They will not have the option to enrich uranium. Will anything happen until they can come to terms with that?
You know, the president has shown remarkable patience. I don't think I would be this patient. I don't know anybody in my immediate family who would be so patient. The deal is taking a lot longer than anybody had anticipated, and the Iranians are doing what they always do. They're putting out lies, propaganda, and provocation, like the attacks we saw yesterday in the Strait of Hormuz. And the president is saying, that's okay, we're going to continue to negotiate. I think the real question, John, now, is the regime serious? And we don't know the answer to it. What we are seeing, though, and what I have known from watching them for 47 years, they're going to delay, they're going to lie, and they're going to cheat. And at some point, the president is going to say, okay, that's enough. I'm turning it over to the guy on my right. And the guy on my right, of course, was Pete Hegseth.
Yeah, the United States did those self-defensive strikes in southern Iran earlier this week. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard is threatening retaliation. We have not seen that yet. And on the top of that, the supreme leader there, we still haven't seen in person, haven't seen him in real life, says American military bases are no longer safe in the Middle East. Is this just saber rattling, or is there some seriousness to this?
Well, there is some seriousness to it. They do still have missiles. They do still have drones. And I think that is what has got the Saudis and the Emiratis in particular very worried. They've seen extensive damage to their own oil facilities. And I'm certain that the Iranians, in this backdoor diplomacy that you had, bombing one day and then talking the next day in the month of April between the Saudis, the Emiratis, and the Iranians, I'm sure that the Iranians told them, hey, you guys better pull back, get a ceasefire, or we're going to really do damage to your oil facilities. And I think they're worried. I think that's what's driving this negotiation right now.
The Trump administration is reportedly planning major cuts to the number of U.S. bombers, fighter jets, and warships that are committed to NATO during a large-scale European conflict. A lot of headlines have been published about this, namely the New York Post here. Reuters also separately reporting administration plans to reduce the number of warships, refueling tankers, and armed drones assigned to NATO. Talk to us about this new reality and what this means for these European countries.
Well, first, our interests, our geostrategic interests, are much more in the Pacific against China than they are today in Europe. And I've heard a lot of saber-rattling by Putin and by the Europeans, by the way, in NATO, who are trying to gin up this fear that Putin is somehow going to strike out at the Baltic states or Sweden or Finland or whatever. And it is just completely...
have frozen up there, but you get the gist of this. Still no deal in place, still very patient for President Trump